Independent MHA, Paul Lane on line 2. How you doing, sir?
Good afternoon, Pete. How are you doing?
Good to have you.
Good to be on. Pete, I understand that we're pressed for time. We have another caller in the queue, so I was going to call about the Workers' Comp Review Division, because I have a number of concerns there, but I'm going to save that for next week when we have a little more time. I just want to give you an update on the paid family caregiver issue.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I had spoken to you about this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, dealing with a family in Port Rexton, and basically, this gentleman's wife is terminally ill, and he had to leave his place of employment in Alberta, where he was working, to come home and care for her. He now has basically no source of income. He's having to basically sell off everything he owns just to try to keep afloat during a time when he really should be, more concerned about caring for his wife.
Yeah.
And under the policy for paid family caregivers, anybody can be a paid family caregiver except the spouse. So if it was a case where mother and daughter living together, or brother and sister, or whatever, it wouldn't be an issue. But because it's a husband and wife, it's not in the policy. So I did email the minister, and I did get a response back basically saying that there's an inherent responsibility for a spouse to, care for another.
Still doesn't stop the situation. I was going to say, still doesn't stop the situation from being that if he had someone across the road who needed a caregiver, he could go over there, and that person could come over and look after his wife, and they both could get paid for that work.
Correct. That's absolutely correct. So, based on that, I didn't think that was good enough. So what I did is I, got the policy, and I actually wrote the minister subsequent to that, and I basically, put in what I thought was a reasonable solution, and I had basically suggested that an amendment should be made to the policy that would say that, in the case that, a spouse is terminally ill, as confirmed by a physician and is now palliative, then for that circumstance, the spouse could take care of their loved one. And I did get a letter back, and basically saying that, thank you. Basically just said, thank you for your suggestion. This is a pilot project, and we'll take it under advisement. Now, they're saying it's a pilot project. I'm not sure how long it's going to be a pilot project, because I think it was actually Minister Susan Sullivan who brought this policy in to begin with. So I'm not sure how long the pilot's going to be, but it sounds to me like a go-away letter. We're not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's going to be as long as no one forces their hand to do it differently.
Yeah, that's what it seems. It's very unfortunate, Like I said, there's no additional cost. If this lady was living with her sister, for argument's sake, her sister could take care of her. But because it's her husband, he can't. And here they are in financial straits. They got all the stress, associated to her illness, and now they have to worry about all the financial issues as well. And it would be absolutely zero additional cost. And there could have been an easy amendment that could be made to that policy that would make sense. And yet they were unwilling to look at it. So, I really think that that's something that should be looked at. I think it's very unfair to this family. My heart certainly goes out to them.
Unfortunately, I guess fortunately too, one of the people really in a position to make a change or to tailor that legislation a little bit hasn't had the experience themselves. They haven't landed there, and they don't know or are unable to put themselves in those shoes and realize the unnecessary tragedy on top of tragedy that comes along with being the caregiver in that kind of a circumstance. So until that happens, oftentimes, things don't change for the better.
Yeah, it's true. Really what it comes down to empathy for people and being able to, as you say, put yourself in other people's shoes. And if this was something that was going to be an additional cost or something like that, I could understand it. If it was going to be a request to change it to say that, that spouses could, take care of the other and get paid like for an indefinite period of time, like a lifetime for argument's sake, then that's another thing. But we're talking about, the case of one spouse is terminally ill, and which has been verified by a medical professional.
Yep.
And all we're saying is have some empathy here, boys, and let them finish out, let them have their last days together with some relative sense of dignity and peace, and spend time together, and let them look after his spouse.
Yeah. All All right, sir. Listen, thanks very much for that. I do appreciate it. It's a great topic and one that we need to keep on our plate here, get it rectified as soon as possible. There are people suffering unnecessarily.
Absolutely. No need of it either. Thank you, Pete, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
Okay, have a good day.